of saying Shabbat Shalom everybody, all to the Most High, for the last body. And all praises to the Most High. I'm going to titled Everything's Alive and Conscious. Okay, now we know that a lot of things that we've been taught as in things that more so suits our purpose. When we look in the Bible tells us the absolute truth of what's going on, the things around it, and gives more insight on life. Right? So you hear things like the Big Bang Theory and all kind of other stuff, but the Bible proves otherwise. It shows us that a lot of these things are true when we're talking about everything in life, everything having a conscious. All right. So, let's see here. All right, so we're going to start in St. John, book John 6 and 63.
Reads as. You know when you start?
Yeah.
Read it.
Yeah.
St. John, chapter 6, verse 63. It is spirit that quickeneth, flesh profiteth nothing. Words that I speak you, they are spirit, and they are life. Okay, so it's the spirit that quickeneth, right? So it's the spirit that gives. When you're talking about wicked, it's synonymous with giving life. The flesh profiteth nothing. Right? Words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So, when you look into the Bible, it tells us clearly that's how things was created. The Most High and give life to these things. And I'm going to show things today, showing that beyond a shadow of a doubt, everything that the Most High created is alive as some form of consciousness. All right, and we're going to also show that this stuff is all created with precision and not just slapped together and just have to all work perfectly. So give praise to the Most High on this. We are here. We at 147:15. 147:15. Yes, Psalms 47, verse 15. He sendeth forth his commandment upon earth. His word runneth very swiftly. Okay, read that again. He sent forth his commandment upon earth. His word runneth very swiftly. Okay, so when he spoke these things into existence, it gave life because word quick. Right? When we looking at what the Most High say compared to what man says, the Most High wins every time because these things are proven just by observing the things around you. You can see what's going on. Whatever the Most High set up, and he told us what he established. You look in the scriptures and you look around you and you see the works of his hands. So right here it says he sendeth forth his commandment upon the earth. Right? His word runneth very swiftly. So we're going to see what kind of commandments he set upon the earth. We're going to go to Genesis 1 and 3. All right. Okay. Genesis 1 verse 3. Genesis chapter 1 verse 3. And AHAYAH said, let there be light. And there was light.
Okay, so again, like we just read, when he gave the commandment, his word runneth swiftly, right? So when he said, let there be light, there was light, right? Keep going.
And AHAYAH saw the light, that it was good. And AHAYAH divided the light from the darkness.
Okay, so he separated the two, right? All of these things are commandments that the Most High has given his creation. Okay, yep.
And AHAYAH called the light day, and the darkness he called night. In the evening and the morning were the first day.
Okay, so very clearly what the Most High commanded his creation to do, we see it right now. That's why we have day and night. It's because the Most High spoke it and his word ran swiftly. Right? He gave that commandment and it happened. Right? So, and also I want to point out a very interesting thing here. When we're looking at time and whatever the Most High commands, the serpent tries to unravel a lot of those things. Like people have this 1 Corinthians 14 and 33 says he's not the author of confusion, right? So whatever he says it is, that's what it is. Why? Because his ways are higher than ours. So when we read and he says in verse 5, and the evening and the morning were the first day, that's another commandment that he set with time, right? It doesn't matter what man tells us about anything. It is the evening first and then the day according to the Most High. That's why when you read verse 2, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. It was dark first. That's why every time you look at these verses, after each day of creation, he continually says with precision, the evening and the morning, not the morning and the evening. So when the sun sets, according to the Most High's time, that is a new day. All right, that's another commandment that he gave to time. Right, and nobody can change that. Where man, he says, the wisdom of the world is foolishness before the Most High. Right, we look at midnight as a new day, but you don't see no transition in the times whatsoever. But if the earth bear witness of the work of his hands, and he says when the sun sets, the evening and the morning, the evening actually, when every time the sun sets, that is a new day. So, for instance, when the sun is no more giving light and it's dark in the sky, it is no longer Saturday. It's Sunday, right? That's the Most High's time that he has set forth upon the earth. Everything else, when you read Daniel 7:25, it tells you it's the serpent that looks to change times and laws. All right? So nobody can change what the Most High has already set up. Malachi 3:6, I am the Lord, I change not. All right? So, so when we look here, when we talk about him, speaking the commandments into the earth and the word running swiftly, we see what's going on there. Let's drop down to verse 14 in the same chapter.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And AHAYAH said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years.
Okay, so he spoke and gave a commandment to these lights in the sky, right? So when you look into the scriptures, it talks about 3 levels of heaven. You have the sky, you have the firmament, then you have the heavenly place where the Most High is at, right? But look here, he spoke about, he gave these lights in the firmament a commandment. He said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. That's why we have day and night. The Most High spoke his commandment into the earth, and his word ran swiftly, right? Let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and for years, right? Verse 15.
And let them be for the lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Okay,
so ask yourself, is that how it is right now while we walk upon the earth? Absolutely, right? He put forth that commandment, and these things consciously follow his commandment. They take their place in the ordinance that the Most High set, right? Let's get verse 16.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 16. And AHAYAH made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day.
That's the sun.
And the lesser light to rule the night.
That's the moon.
He made the stars also.
At nighttime, you see them twinkling. They all have an ordinance. They all have a commandment from the Most High, and they do their job. This is not by accident, right? Let's keep going. Verse 17.
And AHAYAH set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth.
Okay, so he set them in their position. He set them in the firmament of heaven, right? So I want to touch on something real fast. I'm going to go into the book of Enoch, right? And just to show how valid Enoch is, if you read Jude 1 and 14, you'll see that the Bible itself quotes from the book of Enoch. Understand that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So they don't want you to read these books because you will draw closer to the Most High, right? So I'm going to go Enoch 72 and 7. So that'll be right over here somewhere.
Enoch.
So, real quick, Salaki. So we're going to read the commandment that the Most High gave to the sun. Yeah.
Enoch chapter 72, verse 7. And first there goes forth the great luminary.
Yeah, the luminary. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Salaki. Luminary, named the sun. In his circumference is like the circumference of the heaven.
Right.
And he is quite filled with the illuminating and heating fire.
Okay, so notice that it refers to the sun as the he, right? The same ordinance that he sets up with the household and everything else, man, woman, child, these are all perfect order that the Most High set up. When you look into the book of Enoch, it lets you know that the moon actually gets her light from the sun. That's how it's supposed to be in the household as well, according to the Bible, right? When you're dealing with your family, the man is supposed to be able to give that light onto his wife and the wife onto the children. But go ahead.
Verse 8. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north, in order to reach the east, and is so guided that he comes to the appropriate, that portal, and shines in the face of the heaven.
Okay, so the Most High gave it the commandment to move from the east to the west. That's a commandment that the Most High set up with the sun, and the sun follows its ordinance, right? Consciously. All right. Now we're gonna go to chapter 74 in the book of Enoch, and we're gonna read verse 1. And then we're going to drop down to 13. So we're going to look at the ordinance, the commandments that was set for the moon by the Most High. Go ahead.
Book of Enoch, chapter 74, verse 1. And I saw another course, a law for her.
A law, right? Go ahead.
And how according to that law she performs her monthly revolution.
Okay, so the sun, the moon has, she goes through her different phases, right? But she's still within the law of the Most High, right? And through this study, I'm going to show that everything that is created upon the earth is alive and conscious of the Most High's commands that was given to it. All right, let's drop down to verse 13.
Book of Enoch, chapter 74, verse 13.
Right.
And the sun and the stars, bringing in all the years exactly, so that they do not advance or delay their position by a single day unto eternity.
That's their commandment given by the Most High, right? Keep going.
But complete the years with perfect justice in 364 days.
Okay, so the according to man, they tell us it's 365, and then some days it jumped to 366. Again, God is not the author of confusion. According to him, there's 364 days in a year, right? So we went here, and if you notice when we read in Genesis about the stars and the moon, it tells you that they are made for the days, seasons, and years. Enoch is validating and saying the same exact thing, right? So these are the commandments that are set up by the Most High. He spoke these into existence, and these things follow the ordinances. Okay, so these things are very conscious of what is set up to do, and they don't go to the left or to the right. Right, so they are alive. Where we at here? Let me see. So next we're gonna go to Isaiah 45 and 6. So you see us going through these different books, different scriptures, different verses. The Bible says through precepts we gain understanding, right? So, and it talks about rightly dividing the word. So what we're doing are lining up the scriptures and showing that the Bible, one, doesn't contradict itself, and two, that it's all in unison with one another.
Isaiah 45 verse 6.
Yep, 45 and 6.
Isaiah chapter 45 verse 6. That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Okay,
so when you look, we just mentioned the course of the sun that was given as a commandment to the Most High. He says right here, that they may know from the rising of the sun, we know it rises in the east, and from the west, it sets in the west, that there is none beside me. That's the commandment he gave to the sun. You're never going to see the sun go from west to east. Why is that? It has a commandment, right? And it follows the laws of the Most High consciously, right? Keep going, verse 7.
Verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Right. So, you know, if you operating wickedly, he'll send pestilence upon you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? These are the things that the most, and just look how he even that is under a commandment. If the Most High say, hey, you know what? These people are not dealing with me right, and I don't like the abominations going over there. If he sends a tidal wave, who can stop it? Right? The waters were calm just an hour ago. That just shows you that consciously, if he sets his word forward, the earth will move. It will do exactly what he says to do. So, let's get verse 8.
Drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, the Lord, have created it.
Right, so if he tells the earth to open up, it's going to do it. And we're going to touch on that too. But let's keep going. Verse 9.
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker.
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. So when you hear topics like the Big Bang Theory and all kind of stuff, that stuff is foolishness before the Most High. Right? Everything that he said he created, you can just survey the earth and see it very clearly. Right? Verse 9.
Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, what makest thou? Or thy work? He hath no hands.
Right. So pretty much that's like a computer talking to the engineer and saying like, who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Or questioning the engineer when basically you're the person that made that computer. You know, who are we to question the Most High and take his glory and give it on to nothing? Gonna say stuff like Big Bang and stuff like that. No, everything is alive and conscious, and they all know the commandments of the Most High. Right? Keep going. Verse 10.
Woe unto him that saith unto his father, what biggest thou? Or to the woman, what hast thou brought forth?
Right. So when you're talking about begetters, you know, when you look into Genesis, it talks like Adam beget so-and-so and so-and-so. So, you know, if you come from your father's loins, how do you look questioning these kind of things? You know what I mean? Same thing with the creation. The Most High fashioned all of this stuff. So how do we look doubting what the Most High has done or taking his credit and giving it on to another? Right? Keep going.
Thus saith the Lord, the Holy One of Yasharallah, and his Maker, ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands, command ye me.
Right, so ask the Most High, right? Ask him, and he'll reveal it to you. Keep going.
I have made the earth, and created man upon it.
Right.
I even my hands have stretched out the heavens. In all their host have I commanded.
Okay, and all, when he's talking about the host of heaven, it's talking about the angels of heaven, right? So he's saying that he created all of these things, clearly, right? Let's get verse 13, Salakia. So pretty much what we come in here to show is that he didn't create the earth in vain. You know, it all has a purpose. It was all made for a reason, and it was made perfect, right? He gave us the spirit of free will, and that has been manipulated to the point where people have disconnected themselves from the Most High, right? But just like all pretty much what I'm trying to sum up, and through these scriptures, you're going to see everything that he has created is one, alive, and two, conscious. This whole thing, everything exploded and just magically balled into everything and worked perfect is nonsense. It's nonsense. Everything is alive and conscious, right? I'm going to go here to, let's go to Psalm 24 and 1.
a bottle of water? Look by your foot. No? No, you don't see it? Alright, we'll go and take our refrigerator. Psalms 24 and 1? Okay. Psalms chapter 24, verse 1. The earth is the Lord's, in the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods.
Okay, so the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and the world and they that dwell therein. Right? So the Most High created all these things, right? Let's get a precept to that. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 11.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 11. And AHAYAH said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit, after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so.
So why are we coming here? Because right now we're gonna deal with the earth portion of creation, right? Look how he spoke to the earth and told it to bring forth grass, and it did so, right? That's how the grass came about. His word, he puts out the command, and his word runs swiftly, right? It says the herb yielding seed and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. So very clearly we see that, right? So when it talks about the earth is the Most High's and the fullness thereof, he's the one who put the fullness of the earth together, right? Let's go to Ezekiel 6 and 1. Ezekiel 6 and 1. So we dealing with the earth itself and just showing that it is conscious and alive. He spoke to the earth and told it to bring forth grass, and that's what happened, right?
Ezekiel chapter 6, verse 1. Right? And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face towards the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them.
Okay, so prophesy against them, right? So keep going. But look, the thing is, why would the Most High tell Ezekiel to pray, to prophesy to the mountains, right? If these things don't have no form of consciousness or alive whatsoever. Go ahead.
And say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord AHAYAH. Thus saith the Lord AHAYAH to the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys. Behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places.
Right. So, you know, when you look at these times right here, this is when people were setting up groves and stuff like that in these high places of the mountains and in the woods and stuff like that. And the Most High was setting forth a prophecy against the mountains and the hills and the valleys and the rivers that these people were doing these abominations in. You see what I'm saying? Keep going. Let's get verse 4.
And your altars shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your idols.
Okay, so very clear. You know, he's speaking, prophesying to the mountains, rivers, hills, and so forth. Right? These things have a conscience. They are alive. And you know, I'll give you another example. If in the book of Mark, he says that if you believe it without doubting, with the faith of a mustard seed, and tell a mountain to move, it'll do so. Right? I'm paraphrasing, but you know how it goes. These things are clues that the Most High is leaving for us, right? And as we continue to progress, it's going to be even more clear. All right, let's go to Isaiah 55 and 11.
Isaiah 55 and 11. Okay. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
Right, so he put out a commandment. It's not going to come back void. Keep going.
Like you go. For ye shall go out with joy, and be led forth with peace. And mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands.
Right. So a lot of times we look at this stuff like, man, this stuff is crazy. But you know what's so funny? When you watch a lot of these movies, I know that a lot of times we watch these movies like, man, there's a lot of truth in there, right? Just so happen they got a lot of movies where you see trees actually responding back to people and so forth. Everything is communication. Everything is alive. The Most High put these kind of things together. Not everything is a metaphor. And I firmly believe that a lot of these things are alive and well. For instance, when the birds sing, what are they saying? They're communicating something, right? But we don't know what it is. And I'm also going to get into some scriptures on that too, because the Most High allows all of his creation, not some of his creation, all of his creation to have some form of consciousness. All right. So, for ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing. He talks about making a highway in the desert and stuff like that. How can you do that if these things don't have some kind of consciousness towards the commandments of the Most High, right? We know about Moses and the children of Israel in the wilderness when he smote the rock of Horeb and water started flowing out in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Think about these kind of things. This stuff is precision stuff. It's not coincidence. There's no such thing, right? We're at there. All right, let's go to 1 Chronicles 6:33, and pay attention to these examples, because according to Corinthians, by 2 or 3, every word established true. Right?
1 Chronicles what? 1 Chronicles 16:33.
Yep.
Okay. It's like the 1 Chronicles.
Matter of fact, you start from 30.
Okay. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 30. Fear before him all the earth.
All the earth, not just portions of the earth, or not just man on the earth, the whole earth. Keep going.
All the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved.
Right, but I'm going to leave that alone. But there's a point I wanted to make with that, but keep going.
Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice, and let men say among the nations, the Lord reigneth.
Right. So real quick, he says he's talking to the heavens, and he's talking to the earth as well, and he's talking to man. They notice he split all three up, right? And he's going to continue. Let's get verse 32.
32. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. Let the fields rejoice, and all that is therein. Then shall the trees of the word, Then shall the trees of the wood sing out at the presence of the Lord, because he cometh to judge the earth.
So let me ask you a question. Consciously, do we not know? Do we think that the earth doesn't know that it's out of balance right now? Consciously, of course it does. Of course it does. So, and this is even more proof. So when we read about the trees singing out and stuff like that, you know, the earth will be rejoicing at the second coming of Christ. Believe it. Consciously. It's wide awoke. Right? What was that there?
34. Oh, give thanks.
So let's go to Exodus. So that's just showing that the earth is alive, man. It is alive.
Exodus
We're gonna see more. Yep. Exodus 3 and 2.
Chapter 3,
Yep.
verse 2. Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
So when we talk about trees, rejoicing and, singing forth, here's another example of the Most High putting his spirit through these things that have consciousness and are well alive to actually communicate through the spirit of the Most High onto other people. This is a clear example, right? And keep going.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, AHAYAH called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am.
Okay. So I'm using this as an example to show how the Most High, whatever his command is, the earth will yield to it very clearly. You know what I mean? So, yeah, don't always look at the Bible as a metaphor. This is not a metaphor right here. This is consciousness being put forth, and the Most High putting his spirit through to communicate to his servant very clearly. You know what I mean? There's stuff in the books that talk about I'm gonna leave it because we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Where we at? Number 8 right here. Okay. Let's go to Haggai. Haggai 1 and 10. Right? And keep in mind, he puts forth a commandment and his word runs swiftly. Okay?
Haggai chapter 1, verse 10. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. Continue.
Will y'all read that one more time? Sorry about that.
It's all right. Haggai chapter 1, verse 10. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit.
Right.
And I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands.
Okay, so this is showing very clearly, like we read in Genesis 1 and 11, when he talked to the earth and told it bring forth grass, it did so, right? Also here, he's showing you very clearly when he tells the earth to hold back its fruits, right? Don't give any, he calls for a drought. The earth is going to yield to the commandment of the Most High, right? This stuff is conscious things. For instance, if you tell your son or your daughter, don't touch that, it's hot, and they hear what you're saying, they consciously process what you just said and will not do what you just told them not to do. Same thing with the earth. It's alive and conscious, right? Where we at? Let's get a precept to that. Let's go to Leviticus 26 and 17, right? So when he called forth for a drought, the earth is going to yield to the commandment of the Most High, consciously.
Leviticus 24:17.
26 and 17.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 17. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you.
Right, keep going.
And if ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins.
Right.
And I will break the pride of your power.
Uh-huh.
And I will make your heaven as iron.
Right, that's where the water comes, right? Keep going.
And your earth as brass.
And that's where the seed and the herbs break forth out of the ground, right? Keep going.
And your strength shall be spent in vain.
So you'll be out there trying to bring forth the harvest for no reason. But the Most High already told the earth, don't bring nothing out of that ground. He stopped the waters from coming from the heavens, so ain't not one drop gonna come unless he allows that to happen, right? So you're gonna be out there doing everything you can, you know, trying to make something come out of nothing. And if the Most High put the commandment upon the earth, his word is gonna run swiftly. Keep going.
For your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits.
Why is that? Because the Most High called for a drought. Keep going.
And if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children.
So he'll even give a commandment to the animals that's in the field to come against you. Consciously. Keep going.
And destroy your cattle, and make you few in number. And your highways shall be desolate.
So how can all of this stuff be just, you know, set up and have no kind of, it just does whatever it wants? No, it doesn't. It's under the commandment of the Most High. When there's a drought, the Most High commanded that. Why? Because of disobedience. I tell you right here. If you will not hearken, which means listen, right? So understand that everything happens for a reason. And the earth is very conscious of the Most High's demands. All right? What was that there? 1 second. All right, let's go to Numbers. Numbers 16 and 1. And I love this right here because this is beautiful. You're going to see exactly how conscious this earth is. And it's not just a piece of mass that just happen to have some pieces of life coming out of it. Right? So, Numbers 16 and 1.
Now, it's like Numbers chapter 16, verse 1.
Come.
Now, Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Korath, the son of Levi,
Right.
and Dathan, and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel,
Right.
250 princes of the assembly, so like y'all,
Yeah.
famous in the congregation, men of renown.
Okay, so these were men that were respected, right? Go ahead.
And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron.
All right. Real quick, what you're going to see is that these people started to kind of buck up against Moses and Aaron because the Most High set them up with a great work. And they started to kind of like, you know, well, what makes you more special than us kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But watch as the story progresses. Watch what happens. Go ahead.
It's like y'all. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them.
So the Most High is dealing with us too. What make you, you know, any better than anybody else? Or what makes you so special? You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Wherefore, then lift you up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord.
Right. So why are you, you know, lifting yourself up? Right. Go ahead.
And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying.
So, Salakia, real quick, we all know that Moses was a humble man, right? Moses was a very meek brother as well. this brother was not in no fashion trying to uplift himself, right? The Most High put him in a position to do something, and he's just doing it out the fear of God.
That's right.
Right? But these brothers the Most High dealing with us too, so da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But keep going. See, and remember in Acts 5:38, it say, "Let these men alone. Or if it be of men, it'll come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, you cannot overthrow it, lest happily you be found to fight against God." That's right. And that's what these brothers was doing. They was fighting against the ordinance that the Most High set up, right? But go ahead.
Okay. Nah, hold on one second.
Even to Mero, verse 5.
Okay. He spake in the court.
Numbers 16 and 5.
Okay. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him whom he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. This do, take you censers, Korah and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi.
Right, so you like, man, you taking too much upon you, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. Let me just deal with this. Let me deal with that. You know, basically the Most High is setting the tone, and man has no authority to change what the Most High set up. You know what I'm saying? He's dealing with Moses for a reason. Hey, man, all praises to the Most High. But I know for a fact that Moses was very fearful of disappointing the Most High. You know, so, you know, keep going, verse 8.
And Moses said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the God of Israel hath separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and seek ye the priesthood also, for which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord.
So they gathered up against the Lord because they're going against the Most High. They think that, you know, I don't know what they was thinking, but keep going.
And what is Aaron, that ye murmur against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Elab, which said, we will not come up. Okay,
so Moses sent to call some other brothers to come up, and they bucking against Moses too, right? But go ahead.
Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness?
Right.
Except thou make thyself together a prince over us.
Right.
Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up.
Right, so they trying to say, we seeing that we not into the land of milk and honey and all kind of stuff yet. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much they murmuring against Moses, but in reality they murmuring against God. Exactly. Right, keep going.
Ungrateful.
Come.
And Moses was very wroth, and said unto the Lord, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they, and Aaron, tomorrow. And take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring ye there before the Lord every man his censer, and 50 censers.
Mm-hmm.
Thou also, and Aaron, each of you his censer.
Right. Keep going.
And they took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And Korah gathered all the congregation against them onto the floor of the tabernacle of the congregation.
The door. Yeah. It's good.
In the glory. Okay. Onto the door. Okay. So like,
yeah.
And the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Separate themselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment.
Okay, so the Most High spoke to Moses and Aaron and told them to separate themselves from amongst this congregation, right? These people that was murmuring against the Most High. Keep going.
And they fell upon their face and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and would thou be wroth with all the congregation? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins.
Mm-hmm.
So they get up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan and Abiram, on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that the Lord hath sent me to do all these works.
So you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, right? Keep going.
For I have not done them of mine own. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me.
Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm trying to give the backstory on what's going to happen when the Most High gives a command. Keep going.
But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up, with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them.
Okay, so very clearly the earth had opened up her mouth and swallowed them whole. Right? That's given a commandment from the Most High, and it yielding to the commands of the Most High. Keep going.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up in their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods.
Mm-hmm.
They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them.
So hold on. So the earth didn't just open up,
but it
opened
back
up and closed back. Now you tell me that earth is not conscious of the commandment of the Most High. Right? Keep going.
And they perished from among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them.
Mm-hmm.
For they said, Lest the earth swallow us up also.
Right.
And there came out a fire from the Lord, and consumed the 250 men that offered incense.
Okay, so even fire is under the commandment of the Most High. Right? You read in the scriptures, it was a cloud by day, a pillar by night. Pillar of fire by night. You know? So just showing that you know, the Most High put a commandment out there upon the earth is going to respond. Everything within the earth is under the laws and commandments of the Most High. You know, so just putting that out there. You know, so it shouldn't be far-fetched when you hear things like the trees will break out and sing it. You know what I'm saying? It's very clear that the Most High runs the whole thing. So next we're going to go to Proverbs 8 and 29. So we you know, touched on some scriptures showing how he gives commandments to the earth and the earth responds. Let's see about what happens with the water, right? All of these things that make the earth in completion, which science tells people about big bangs and stuff like that, these things are consciously following the commandments of the Most High. So we're going to get it right now. Proverbs 8 and 29.
Proverbs 8 and 29.
Come.
Proverbs 8 and 29. When he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth.
That's why when you see the beach, the water rolls out. Remember, the beach, the water, the seas are a moving body of living water, moving to and fro 24 hours a day. Every second that we breathe, the water is constantly moving. Ask yourself, if the sand, the water itself, is not consciously following the commandments of the Most High, why does the water touch the beach and roll right back? Think about that, right? So when we read here, it says, when he gave the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment, do not pass the sand, unless he tells the water to wipe out an area and you get tidal waves and so forth. That's because it's a commandment given. It says, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, right? So let's see what happens when he appointed the foundations of the earth dealing with the waters. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 20. All right? He gave commandments to all these things.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 20.
Right?
And AHAYAH said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven.
So when he situated the seas, the waters of the earth, he allowed the earth to bring forth all of these creatures, the fish and all of those that's in the sea, as well as the fowls of the air, which is synonymous with birds. Right? Keep going. They all came out of the sea. Keep going.
And AHAYAH created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly.
The waters brought them forth abundantly because the Most High said so. Keep going.
After their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And AHAYAH saw that it was good.
Right.
And AHAYAH blessed them, saying, be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth.
So he gave a commandment to the waters to bring forth the fowls of the air and all of the creatures of the sea. And it did so. And then he gave them a commandment to be fruitful and multiply. And here we are today. All right. So very clearly, though, even the waters yield into the commandments of the Most High. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 9.
Genesis 1 and 9.
Same chapter, verse 9.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 9. And AHAYAH said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so.
And it was so. Just off of him speaking it. Commandment given, commandment followed. Right? That's how it operates, consciously, not by accidents. Let's get Psalms 24 and 2. We tackling this thing. We dealing with the water right now. All right?
Psalms what?
24 and 2.
24 and 2. Psalms 24 and 2. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who?
So basically, for he founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods. So when we talking about the waters, that's how he set it up. All right. The Most High put these commandments out here, and the earth responds. Let's get Psalms 33 and 7.
Psalms chapter 33 verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
He gathered the waters of the sea together as a heap.
Mm-hmm.
He layeth up the depth in storehouses.
Okay, so the Most High gathers these waters. When you see things like a tidal wave and stuff like that, that's the water being gathered together to do something that the Most High sent it forth to do. All of these things are not coincidences. Okay?
We'll continue to read that one because
number
8.
We're going to come back. So let's go to Luke 17 and 5.
All right.
Luke 17 and 5.
Luke chapter 17 verse 5. And the apostle said unto the Lord, increase our faith.
Increase our faith. That's what we should be asking now too. In these days of confusion, Babylon means confusion. And we're dealing with a lot of confusion, a lot of false doctrines and fake stuff. But when you look at the structure that the Most High set, everything that you survey is a creature of the Most High. And it's alive and kicking. Right? So right here, this is the kind of stuff we should be asking the Most High for. And the apostle said unto the Lord, increase our faith. Right? Go ahead, verse 6.
And the Lord said, if ye had faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye might say unto his
sycamore
tree, Salakia, be thou plucked up by the root, and be thou planted in the sea, and it should obey you.
Okay? It's just showing you that the earth, the Most High gave us the earth to subdue the earth. And because we are made in the image of Him, if we are dealing with true faith, we'll be able to actually speak to the earth as well, and it will yield to us through the power of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's in Scripture, right? But what we at here? Let's get Exodus 14 and 19. 14 and 19. We seeing how the earth will, how the Most High set this up.
Exodus chapter 14 verse 19.
Con.
And the angel of AHAYAH, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face.
So the pillar of the cloud is alive and conscious too. Keep going.
And stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel.
Right.
And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light.
That's created and gave commandments to. And He used it to basically mask the children of Israel from the Egyptians when they were, that's like similar to what happened with Lot and them, right? When they couldn't even see the Lot and his family walking out because the Most High temporarily blinded them. You know what I'm saying? Look how He used the clouds, gave the cloud a commandment, right? And it was darkness onto them, but light onto us, right? That's by the Most High. This thing is consciously alive. Keep going.
Okay. 19?
Yeah.
No, hold on.
21.
21, excuse me. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night.
Wait, and who caused the sea to go back?
And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back.
He gave it a commandment, right? Keep going.
By a strong east wind all that night.
Hold on. So he told the wind to come forth and help with this situation. Keep going.
And made the sea dry land. And the waters were divided.
And the waters were divided, right? Because the Most High told the waters, and the wind to assist in a situation, gave it a commandment, and so be it. Right? Keep going. And notice that he's using Moses to convey that to the earth as well, and it's yielding to Moses. Peep that. Right? But keep going.
And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground. And the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left.
So the waters were split by the command of the Most High. No pushback, wasn't fighting it. It just yielded to the command of the Most High. That's consciousness. Right? Keep going.
And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen.
Right.
And it came to pass that in the morning watched the Lord look unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians.
Okay, so I wanna just touch on that piece right quick, right? When you look at verse 20, it says, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light and night to these, so that one came not near to the other all night. Understand, when we're talking about these things that are set up within the earth to destroy the Most High's people, do not be fearful of their wicked devices, because the Most High will use the earth itself to conceal his people in plain sight, just like he did here for Moses and them. Plain sight. They couldn't see him. Right? So understand who our power is. The whole earth is subdued under his authority. So, it doesn't matter what kind of technology is out there. When we're talking about the earth and the fullness thereof belongs to the Most High, understand what we're really saying. It's consciously obedient to the Most High. Right? Where we at? Verse 25.
25?
Yeah.
Okay. Exodus chapter 14, verse 25. And took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians.
Clearly, right? Keep going.
And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen.
Right? So remember how the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed up those people, then closed back. Same thing with this water. The Most High gave the commandment. The water split up to allow the children of Israel to walk across dry land. And it also is closing back up to prevent them from coming across it. Understand what what ends up happening ended up wiping out majority of the Egyptian army with that one move. So how can we not lean on our power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in times of distress, especially when we're talking about the last days? You know what I mean? So understand that the earth is alive and kicking. Alive and kicking, right? Every part of it. Let's get verse 27.
Verse 27. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea.
Very clear, right? So the water is very conscious as well, right? Let's get Psalms 33 and 8. Psalm 33 and 8.
Psalms 33 and 8. Okay. Psalms chapter 33, verse 8. Let all the earth fear the Lord.
Not some of the earth, all the earth, right?
Let all the earth fear the Lord.
Not portions of it, right?
Let all the earth fear the Lord. let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him.
That's how we supposed to be looking at this earth, not like it's an accident. Are you kidding me? Let all the earth fear the Lord, and all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. Because if he sends a wind from the north to come, you're going to get a typhoon. You're going to get a tornado. If he sends the waters to go over the bounds that he set, it's going to go. You're going to get a tidal wave. If he tell the earth to open up and swallow whatever and close back, nothing you could do about it. So, you know, like in the book of Joshua, it said, choose this day who you will serve. As for me and my household, we'll serve the Lord. Right? We understand the power of this thing, man. We understand how the Most High has the whole earth. It's all alive and it's all conscious. Right?
Verse 9.
Yeah, you can get it.
Verse 9. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast.
Read that one more time, Mark.
For he spake, and it was done.
Right.
He commanded, and it stood fast.
Clearly. All praises to the Most High.
All praises.
Right? All praises to the Most High. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to go to Numbers 22 and 20. So we showed how the earth yields to the Most High, the water yields to the Most High, the wind and so forth, clouds and so forth. We're going to see how the Most High uses the animals of the earth to do his work as well. Everything is alive and conscious, and it's all connected to the Father up above.
22 and 20.
Yep.
Numbers chapter 22, verse 20. And AHAYAH came unto Balaam at night, and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do.
So this guy they was looking to get this guy to put some kind of problems towards Israel. This man was like a sorcerer or something towards them kind of effects. You feel me? And the Most High was, telling them pretty much at first. He was telling them not to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Because if he does that, then the Most High is going to destroy him on another level. You see what I'm saying? Because they was trying to get him to go against the children of Israel. But keep going. Verse 21.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
And Balaam rose up in the morning, and saddled his ass, and went with the princes of Moab.
Right.
And AHAYAH's anger was kindled because he went.
Right.
And the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him.
Okay, so the Most High was about to destroy this man one time. But watch the irony. Go ahead.
And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way, and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way.
Okay, so and this is showing you, oh man, I'm gonna say this very clearly. The donkey is able to consciously see spiritual things that our eyes can't even see. And the donkey was seeing the angel of the Lord standing before the path that they were heading to, and he already knew that he was gonna basically, destroy this man one time. But keep going. Watch what happens. And that just shows you that animals are consciously connected. That's why certain things happen. You might see an animal run away. They identify spirits and stuff like that. They have a consciousness about them, right? That's connected with the Most High. Go ahead.
But the angel of the Lord stood in a path of the vineyards, a wall being on on this side, and a wall on that side.
Right.
And when and when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself onto the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. And he smote her again.
So this donkey is actually trying to save his life. Right? But keep going.
And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left.
Okay, so now the angel of the Lord got him pinned down. So now the donkey can't go left, right. It got to continue to go straight, right? Go ahead.
And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord...
Keep in mind, this guy still don't see the angel of the Lord ready to take his head off. Keep going.
She fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times?
So now we already seen things where we talking about the trees breaking out and singing, and people probably like, man, this brother tripping. But right here, the Most High opened up the donkey's mouth to speak to the man. Understand what's going on here. Just like the burning bush was able to convey a message through the Spirit of the Most High to Moses. You telling me that the earth is not conscious and connected to the Most High? Keep going up. Matter of fact, get 28 again.
Yeah. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, Because thou hast mocked me, I would there wear a sword in my hand, for now would I kill thee.
So he's like, man, if I had a sword in my hand right now, I'll kill you. Talking to the donkey, right? But look how the donkey's reasoning with him with conscious thought. Keep going.
And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day?
So ever since I belonged to you, wasn't I the same one that you rode on all this time? Right? Keep going.
Was I ever wont to do so unto thee?
So have I ever done this to you? Right? Go ahead.
And he said, Nay.
No. Right?
Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam.
So now the Most High is giving this man the conscious eyes to see what the donkey was seeing. Go ahead.
And he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Wherefore hast thou smitten thy ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her life.
So he would have killed him and left the donkey alive.
Now,
the donkey done saved this man alive, and he talking about if he had a sword in his hand, he would have killed the donkey. But the donkey consciously was able to see things that we can't see. And understand that this is the consciousness that the Most High put in animals. Put the consciousness he put within the earth. Right? Keep going.
And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease thee, I will get back. I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak.
Okay. So just giving an example of how the animals consciously understand the commandments of the Most High. Okay? And they have consciousness about them too. It's all connected. Whether you're talking about the earth, the water, the wind, the fire, the clouds, the sand, the animals within itself, these things are all connected to the Most High. And they are all consciously alive and have understanding and follow the commandments of the Most High Power. Okay? So that's very clear. We're going to go to the book of Yasha real quick. I'm going to go to Yasha chapter 6, verse 2.
It kind of go hand in hand with Daniel, too, when he got thrown up in the
Yeah, good example. Yeah, bring it out.
the lions den.
You know, you can mention what you about to, what you were just saying.
That also goes back with Daniel, too, when he got thrown within the lions den.
Right.
And them lions didn't touch him.
Absolutely.
You know, because they was commanded by the Most High not to touch him.
You see what I'm saying? And they didn't bother that man all night.
Sitting there, chilling with him, though.
Absolutely. You know, so we're going to go to Yasha chapter 6, verse 2. Now, look at the intelligence and the consciousness of these animals, right, that the Most High put in them, right? And watch how they follow commandments.
Okay.
Chapter 6, verse 2.
Okay. The book of Yasha, chapter 6, verse 2.
And we're going to read down all the way down to verse 7. But go ahead.
And thou shalt go and seat thyself by the doors of the ark, and all the beasts, the animals, and the fowl shall assemble and place themselves before thee.
Okay, so this is the Most High talking to Noah and telling him, listen, this is how we're going to decide which animals are going to come on the ark. Okay? So there's something that the Most High is telling him to look for from these particular animals. Go ahead.
Selves before thee.
Yeah.
And such of them as shall come.
Matter of fact, start from 2 again.
Okay.
Just so we could get it all together.
And thou shalt go and seat thyself by the door of the ark, and all the beasts, the animals, and the fowl shall assemble and place themselves before thee. And such of them as shall come and crouch before thee shalt thou take and deliver into the hand of thy sons, who shall bring them to the ark, and all that will stand before thee thou shalt leave.
Okay, so clearly the Most High told Noah, when you decide on which animals, this is how you know which ones to take. The ones that crouch before you, those are the ones that you would take. Any ones that stand up towards you, you leave them there. You see what I'm saying? And just look at watch what goes on here. Go ahead.
And the Lord brought this about on the next day, and animals, beasts, and fowls came in great multitudes and surrounded the ark.
That's why a lot of times when you see animals, when they know something is coming, a lot of times they act different. Their consciousness is activated. They know that the Most High is doing something right now. Look how all these animals gather themselves to the ark because they knew something was coming on. The Most High put that spirit out there, and they're able to connect consciously with the Most High like that. Go ahead.
And Noah went and seated himself by the door of the ark, and of all flesh that crouched before him, he brought into the ark, and all that stood before him he left upon earth.
So what is that symbolic of? That's basically when the scriptures talk about, the earth is yours, subdue the whole earth. You know what I mean? We supposed to have dominion over the animals. Crouching down is kind of like humbling yourself. Standing up to them is, kind of like, it's almost like riling up, lightweight. You know what I mean? So look at what's going on here. But go ahead.
And a lioness came with her 2 whelps, male and female, and the 3 crouched before Noah.
Right.
And the 2 whelps rose up against the lioness and smote her, and made her flee from her place. And she went away, and they returned to their and they returned to their places and crouched upon the earth before Noah.
So there was 3 of them originally, and the 2 whelps made the lioness move out of the way. there was something that transpired there consciously that we don't understand. But the Most High allowed that to happen for a particular reason. But go ahead, keep going.
And the lioness ran away and stood in the place of the lions. And Noah saw this and wondered greatly. And he rose and took the two whelps and brought them into the ark.
Okay, so even Noah was watching this like, man, that was interesting. You know what I'm saying? But I'm showing you here that I don't know what happened between those lions, but something, the Most High exposed that lioness for something. Maybe she was trying to sneak onto the boat or whatever the case is. I don't know. But, you know, consciously, though they were in tune with the Most High. And, you know, even Noah wondered at that, like, man, that's amazing.
That's a
you know
beautiful thing, man.
I'm trying to tell you. You know, so yeah, man, you know, just showing how the animals, even the animals are obedient to the Most High. Let's go to Revelation. So we coming down to the tail end of it. Got a couple more scriptures. We're going to go to Revelation 19 and 11. Right? Revelation 19 and 11.
Revelation 19 and 11.
Just showing how the Most High is connected to these animals and they all follow his commandments. Just like the rest of the earth does.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Right.
His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself.
Right. So look how the Most High, the Son of the Most High, you know, Christ is coming back here, and it talks about him riding on a white horse. Right. Consciously, this animal knows what time it is and knows his job, and it's obedient. Right. But you know, this is a very, very important scripture too, because a lot of Israel, when we talk about the second coming of Christ, a lot of times they're attaching that to some form of technology, UFO kind of thing. But when you look in the Bible, everything is alive and conscious. You look in Ezekiel, it talks about the chariots, it's all alive. The firmament, alive. The angels at the bottom of it, alive. The wheels on the side of the angels, alive. Now, all these things are conscious. You look here talking about the second coming of the Messiah, and he's on organic material. Not no piece of machinery. And I'm highlighting this because even these little portions is a segue to understanding when we talk about the chariots of the Most High. Understand what we're looking for, because remember, the Bible says that the serpent will look to deceive even the very elect. And that's a big thing to look for. You don't want to be running to one of the serpent's machines thinking that you run into the Son of God. Understand? Right? But anyway, we're going to keep going. The Bible say prove all things. So, you know, I would definitely, I'm open to seeing anything that supports a piece of metal being a piece of metal with a circuit board, the Messiah needing that to come back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But we're going to go through the precepts and see what it says, right? Let's get 11 one more time and go down.
Okay. And I saw heaven and... So like y'all, Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Right.
His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself.
And again, this is another precept to show why we shouldn't be wrestling over, well, you calling this name, I'm calling this name, I ain't dealing with you. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know what name the Messiah coming back with.
Just like that.
So let's stop the nonsense and focus on these laws and commandments and getting salvation. Right? But keep going on.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the word of AHAYAH.
Okay, so we know who the word of the Most High is, the Son of God, right? Keep going.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses.
No, they was on UFOs.
Followed him upon white horses.
Nah, they was in a tank.
Followed him upon white horses.
Right.
Clothed in fine linen.
Okay, so
white and clean.
So not only is the Messiah coming back from the clouds on a horse, but so is his army. So where do we get these pieces of metals with technology in it, which the serpent used to exalt itself like the Most High? So why would the Messiah need that when the whole earth and the fullness thereof is under his power? Right? Keep going. Verse 15.
And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty AHAYAH.
Right.
And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great AHAYAH.
Okay, so I want to touch on something real quick. So get 14 one more time. Revelations 19 and 14 one more time.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses,
Right.
clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
Okay, so whole Revelation 19, right? We're gonna get a precept real quick, and we're gonna come right back to Revelation. But we just want to edify that piece real quick, right? We're talking about everything is alive and conscious. So let's stay within that right quick. We're going to go to Mark 13 and 26. And we're going to come right back to Revelation. So don't lose Revelation, right? Remember, through thy precepts we gain understanding.
Mark what?
13 and 26.
Mark 13, verse 26. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory.
Right? Coming in the clouds. Why is that? Because the cloud consciously understands the commands of the Most High. If he wants to ride on a cloud, he's going to come. If he wants to walk on water, he can. Why? Because the whole earth is subdued under his power. It's all organic. So I'm bringing this out, man. Please do not be baffled with these things that, you know, the serpent put in our way as stumbling blocks. You know what I mean? If he wants to come surfing on a surfboard made of sand, it's going to happen. And the sand will be very firm to support whatever it is that he's trying to do. So understand who the Most High is, man. And, you know, the power that's given to his son and the people that follow him. You know, these things are allowed through the commandment of the Most High. All right. So we back here at Revelation 19. And I just wanted to touch on that. But you was at 19 and 17, right?
19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun.
Standing in the sun, right? Go ahead.
And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven.
So here goes a conscious commandment being given to the birds of the sky. Go ahead.
Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great AHAYAH.
Onto the supper, right? Onto the supper.
Supper. Oh,
yeah, of the
Salaki.
No, it's all good. Onto the supper of the great power, right? So
the supper of the great.
So what they about to eat? Go ahead. Verse 18.
That ye may eat the flesh of kings. In the flesh of captains, in the flesh of mighty men,
right?
In the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, in the flesh of all men,
Right.
both free and bond,
Okay.
both small and great.
Okay, so he gives a commandment in the last days that the fowls of the sky will go against these wicked powers and everything that pertain to them. You see that? So he tells these birds in the last days to consume the flesh of these wicked kings and captains. That's what they're going to do. Right? Go ahead, verse 19.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse.
Nah, sat on a UFO.
That's crazy.
Him that sat on the horse.
On an airplane.
That sat on the horse.
Right?
And against his army.
Uh-huh.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast,
Right.
and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone.
Uh-huh. So even the fire in the lake of fire is under a commandment. Everything is alive and conscious. Keep going.
And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
So once he set those birds to go against man in the last days, understand, they're not going to say no. All right? Very clear. So let's get Ezekiel 1 and 4. 1 and 4. After that, got about 4 more, and then we'll bring it to a head. So Ezekiel 1 and 4.
Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
Now notice everything that Ezekiel mentioned that he saw so far was all elements. And they're all doing a commandment that the Most High told them to do. Go ahead, keep going.
Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures.
4 living creatures. Not 4 pieces of technology or anything like that, right? Not 4 accidents. These are conscious beings, right? Keep going.
And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man.
Right.
And everyone had 4 faces. And everyone had 4 wings.
Okay, so I'm coming here because I want to show that when we talking about everything is alive, even the chariot of the Most High in the vision of Ezekiel was alive and conscious and was connected to the spirit of the Most High. Keep going.
And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of varnished brass.
Right.
And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces in their wings, and their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man.
So a lot of times people, for some reason, I don't know how they get an airplane out of this, right? But a lot of times they would say, well, this is the chariot of the Most High, and this got to be a UFO. But how does a UFO doesn't have a face? And when you look more into this, it tells you very clearly that those 4 beings at the bottom were cherubims. Cherubims are angels. Live and conscious angels, not pieces of metal with circuit boards. And I'm establishing this because everything is alive and conscious, right? If the Most High using transport, believe it is alive. But go ahead.
And the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side, and they 4 also had the face of an eagle.
Right.
Thus,
Real quick, I just want to get something towards that, right? Look at Ezekiel 10 and 15, and we're gonna come right back to that, just so we can really understand what he just described. Ezekiel 10 and 15, and then we're gonna go back to chapter 1.
Okay, 10 and 15. Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 15.
Start from 14, Salakia.
Ezekiel chapter 10, verse 14. And every one had 4 faces. The first face was the face of a cherub.
Cherub is short for cherubim. Go ahead.
And the second face was like the face of a man. And the third, the face of a lion. And the fourth, the face of an eagle.
You know, and when you look at these things too, just a little sidebar, you look at each one of these faces that's described, each one of them is dominant in their area. You have a cherub, which is, you know, a celestial being, right? That is strong within the host of heaven. Then you have the face of a man, which was sent to subdue the whole earth. You have the face of a lion, which is set up to subdue the jungle or all of the wild beasts of the earth, right? Then you have the face of an eagle, which is the strongest fowl. You see what I'm saying? Understand what's going on there. Verse 15.
And the cherubims were lifted up. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Chebar.
The living creature. Okay, so when we given the description of what Ezekiel saw, those things was alive. All right, so we're going to go back to Ezekiel 1 and 11.
Okay. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies.
Right.
And they went every one straight forward, whither the spirit was to go.
Wherever the spirit was to go, right? So they had a conscious guidance that was given from a spirit, right? Technology does not have a spirit nor a soul. Keep that in mind, right? Go ahead.
They went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. And out of the fire went forth lightning, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning.
Verse 15.
Okay. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, with his face, with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl.
Right.
And they 4 had one likeness.
So all the wheels look exactly alike, right? Keep going.
And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in a middle of a wheel.
So a wheel in the middle of a wheel. So you got 2 wheels inside. You got a wheel inside of a wheel, right? Go ahead. And these are on the side of the cherubims that are underneath the firmament, which is the platform to the throne of the Messiah. Go ahead.
When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went.
Right.
As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4.
So the rings, these things, the wheel within the wheel had eyes. Again, alive and conscious. Right? Go ahead.
And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up.
Right.
Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels.
Wait, say that again? The what?
For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels.
Okay, these things are alive. Okay, this thing is alive. Man, I hope that it's very clear that this thing is alive and conscious. Right, but go ahead.
When those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels.
Okay.
In the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was as the color of the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was as the color of the terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above.
Okay, so the firmament is as the color of crystal, right? Terrible crystal. Keep going, and that's alive too. Right, he gave the firmament a commandment in Genesis 1 to separate the waters from the water. Right, go ahead.
And under the firmament were their wings straight, in one toward the other. Every one had two, which covered on this side, and every one had two, which covered on that side their bodies. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of a host. When they stood, they let down their wings.
Right.
And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads, when they stood and had let down their wings.
So when you continue to read, the voice was the sound of the Most High Son, right? The Messiah. How do you know that? Because it tells us very clearly that the Most High has never left the throne, right? So keep that in mind. But yeah, man, very clear, okay. The chariot that Ezekiel saw was alive and conscious. It had a spirit in it. You know what I mean? And it followed the commandments that was given from up above by the one who sat on the throne, right? You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stop there with that, but you could continue to read that, whenever you get some time. There's a couple more verses in there, but you'll see very clearly where it's going. So got a couple more, man, and then we're gonna knock it out. So next one I had was Mark 13:26, but we read that earlier where it says the Son of Man coming on a cloud. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind, that even, the firmament, the clouds, these chariots, all of these things, the water, wind, fire, animals, all follow the commandments of the Most High in precision, and it's not a coincidence. All right. So we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. Okay. Ecclesiasticus 41:1. All right. Yeah.
Ecclesiastic. Oh, yeah.
Book falling apart.
All right. Ecclesiasticus 41.
Yeah, 41:1.
Chapter 41, verse 1. O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest in his possessions, unto the man that hath nothing to vex him, and that hath prosperity in all things.
Okay, so right here you see very clearly that the Most High is speaking to death. Even death has some form of consciousness about it too. And I'm going to show that too, right? But go ahead. Wait, start again from the top.
O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest in his possessions.
Right.
Unto the man that hath nothing to vex him, and that hath prosperity in all things.
Right.
Yeah, unto him that is yet able to receive meat. O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth.
Right.
that is now in the last age, and is vexed with all things, and to him that despaireth in all Salaki, and hath lost patience.
Mm-hmm.
Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh.
Right. So, the Most High, he didn't create us to be fleshly beings. He created us in the beginning, and it talks about in the Wisdom of Solomon, he created us to be immortal. Right? But look how he's speaking to death right here and telling him like, well, when people lose when they lose patience, you know what I'm saying? That's when he takes over and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We know that what it say, we was talking about it earlier, he shall be saved that endure until the end. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, if you give up, you know what I'm saying, you're giving in to death. You know what I'm saying? Because you're no longer striving for the crown. You know what I'm saying? You're no longer fighting the flesh, which is death. The flesh itself is death. Let's get this real quick, and just to show that the scriptures do say that originally we were created to be immortal. Let's get this right here. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2:23.
Okay, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2.
22.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 verse 22.
Uh-huh.
As for the mysteries of AHAYAH,
Right.
they knew them not,
Mm-hmm.
neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness,
Right.
nor discern a reward for blameless souls.
Uh-huh.
For AHAYAH created man to be immortal.
Wait, say that again?
For AHAYAH created man to be immortal.
He didn't create us to die. Right. He didn't create us with fleshly flesh. Keep going.
For AHAYAH created man to be immortal,
Uh-huh.
and made him to be an image of his own eternity.
So the serpent knew that in the garden. And that's why he tricked Eve into giving dealing with whatever came from that tree onto Adam, and it basically gave us fleshly. That's how we're engulfed in flesh and had things like blood. You know what I'm saying? Blood is connected directly to flesh. Right? But keep going.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world.
Read that again.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world.
Okay.
And they that do hold of his side
that lose patience. That lose patience do what?
And they that do hold of his side do find it.
Okay. So we weren't created to be fleshly beings. There's a reason why you look in the Bible and he always talks about blood and how we're not supposed to be playing with blood. But doctors want to draw blood and do all this other stuff with blood. But the Bible tells us very clearly we're not supposed to eat blood. Even touching blood, you're not even really supposed to be dealing with it like that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bring it up.
But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of AHAYAH.
Right.
And there shall no torment touch them.
Okay. So when he talks about losing patience and giving into death, that's what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? We got to continue steadfast in the stuff that we need to do. So when you hear him speaking of death like that, understand death has death is tied to the flesh. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get another one here. Let's get 1 Corinthians 15 and 54. And this is in the Bible where the Most High is speaking to death as well. Right?
Get that.
1 Corinthians 15 and 54. Yeah, right there.
$15.54. Hold on, you said what?
1 Corinthians 15 and 54.
Oh, 15 and 54. Okay.
So I'll give 1 second here. Okay.
Something.
Can I get something else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Enjoy.
Go ahead, man. Help yourself, brother. Right above. Right above the stove. Yep. That kind. The other side.
All right.
Right there.
So yeah, 1 Corinthians 15 to 54.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 54. So when his corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory.
Right? Death is swallowed up in victory, right? So it will be defeated, right? Keep going. Verse 55.
O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?
Okay, so he's speaking to these things for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He's not just you know wasting his breath. He's speaking towards these things for a reason. Let's get verse 56.
Verse 56. The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law.
Okay, so the law, which you know within these Christian communities, a lot of times they tell us that it's just done away with without fully expounding on what part of the law is done away with, right? But clearly, right here in the New Testament, it's telling us that the strength against sin is the law, right? Verse 57.
But thanks be to AHAYAH, which giveth us the victory through our Lord, Yasha Christ.
Okay, but thanks be unto the Most High AHAYAH, which give us the victory through his Son, the Messiah, Yasha Christ. Right? So all praises to the Most High for that.
Praises.
But you see very clearly that he's speaking to death right here. You know what I mean? These things, everything is alive and conscious, man. Everything is alive and conscious. So got two more, and we're gonna bring it to a tail end. Let's get Revelation 21 and 4.
Revelations 21 and 4.
Con.
Revelations 21 and 4. And AHAYAH shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Okay, so when he asking, well, death, where is your sting? He's also telling you in Revelation 21 that death will be destroyed as a whole. There will be no more of that. You see what I'm saying? So just putting that out there, man. You know, again, even death has some form of life to it. Ironically, right? But anyway, last but not least, we're gonna get Romans 8 and 18, and this one right here, we're gonna close it out with this. Romans 8 and 18.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Okay, Romans 8 and 18.
Come.
Romans chapter 8, verse 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectations of the creature waiteth for the manifestations of the sons of AHAYAH.
Okay, so creatures, what creatures is it talking about? It's talking about the whole earth as a whole. Every element, every piece that the Most High has set up in this thing is waiting on the sons of God, right? And when it's talking about the sons of God here, it's pertaining to the children of the Most High, right? Keep going.
For the creatures was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of AHAYAH.
So the whole creation, everything, right, will be, it says right here, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption, because death is still abound in this earth. We're going to see through this scripture that the whole earth is in travail. So basically it's pushing forth to the new heaven and new earth. So everything that's here will no longer be in a corruptible state. You see what I'm saying? So all of creation as a whole, which is also showing you that it has some form of consciousness and life, will be reestablished without death whatsoever. Right? But keep going.
Verse 22. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now.
So the whole earth is in pain and travaileth. We talking about the wind, the water, the sand is all feeling it. It's all feeling it because the world is out of balance right now because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And they're not dealing with the earth righteously. Right? So for we know that the whole creation, not part of the creation, not just man, the whole thing, groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. So that's why you can look at the earth right now and see fish turning up on the seashore, birds falling out the sky, wind filled with chemtrails. All of this stuff is feeling the effects of the wickedness of this earth. And it's all in pain together. Right? Keep going, verse 23.
Verse 23. And not only they, but ourselves also.
Oh, so right there it shows it's not talking about us. It's talking about the whole creation. Read that again.
And not only they.
Not only the whole earth.
But ourselves also.
But man also.
Which have the first fruits of the Spirit. Even we ourselves groan within ourselves. Waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
All praises to the Most High.
For we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for?
Okay. So we know that we waiting and we continuing in this faith steadfast, locking in on the laws and commandments of the Most High. And, you know, we are groaning and feeling the pains the same way that the earth does. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why the earth is feeling it is because it is alive and conscious. You know, so just want to say all praises to the Most High for this beautiful Shabbat.
Yes.
I pray that, you know, we able to kind of look at the earth a little different, man. Look at the things around you as a creation of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? The Most High has given these things commandments and they follow through. You know, but the earth is in pain as well. You know, the whole earth is in great travail. You know, and when he talks about the new heaven and earth coming forward, you know, it's very symbolic to a birth of a child. You know what I mean? So just putting that out there, man. All praises to the Most High for another blessed Shabbat and for the spirit of truth. And we want to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. And I like to put in something.
Yeah.
We're going to throw another study soon. So for those who are on here could come and follow. Tev Cuts 777. Is there a way to put a link on this thing? Or no? You just have to type it in, huh? Yep, just go search up Tev Cuts 777, and then I'm gonna throw another study, and this is about the laws, tongues, and spiritual, and what Christians say. But you could pretty much name the study whatever you like. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there for you, brothers.
All right, so with that, I want to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.